But when she told him anything about my brother was an upstanding.
Excuse me, did I ever tell you that?
Yes, you did.
No, I did not. All I said is your father is dead. That's all I said, and I left it at that.
And some Pampers, and he got killed. That was a lie, too.
He hacked my Facebook. He invaded my privacy. That's how we found out.
That's already a lie. And on the inbox, I see, oh, baby, I can't wait to see you later on tonight. I had a great time with, the last few days we spent together. It's been amazing.
We still good. We only here to collect the benefit. Only way you get anything is if you do a DNA. I didn't even know that I could collect benefits. Yes, you did. Anybody know that somebody you could collect?
Mr. Hoyer unpacks his life's suitcase, detailing a childhood spent in foster care and a desperate search for his father, only to find out the man had passed away. Talk about a plot twist. This bombshell was followed by a chilly reception from the family he hoped would welcome him. You won't believe what comes next, so stay tuned.
15 years of being in foster care, you desperately searched for your father. Sadly, that search ended when you learned that your alleged father, Mr. James Horn, was tragically killed. To make matters worse, you claim his family rejected you to prove to them that you are indeed his son and finally have a family.
Yes, Your Honor.
Get ready for some family drama. Miss Porter and her mom are throwing major doubts on Mr. Hoyer's claim to their family tree. They're pretty much betting the farm that DNA results will confirm Mr. Horn had 0 kiddos. Hang on to your popcorn, because the next scene is just heating up.
Miss Porter, you and your mother, Ms. Horn, who's joining us from her hometown, are adamant that Mr. Hoyer is not biologically part of your family. You claim that before Mr. Horn passed away, he clearly stated that he had no children, and you believe today's DNA result will prove him right.
This part hits right in the feels. Mr. Hoyer opens up about the rough patches of growing without a dad, from not learning how to shave to tying a tie solo. He's hanging on to hope that today's test will write a new chapter in his family story. The suspense is building, and you're going to want to see what's next.
Your Honor, it was like hell growing up without a father. I was taken away when I was 3 and 9. I was in foster care for 14 years, never got to learn how to shave, never got to learn how to tie a tie. I don't know who my father is because my mom used to be a stripper. I feel that if I did know my biological father, my life would have been totally different.
Cue the unexpected family reunion vibes. Mr. Hoyer tells the tale of how he stumbled upon Mr. Horn's family, thanks to a neighbor with a sharp eye for resemblance. The conversation that followed could have been ripped right from a movie script. What happens next might just surprise you.
My adopted brother came and got me, took me over to his neighbors. When I approached the house, I walked into the door. My alleged uncle was like, "You're my brother's son." I guess I am. I really don't know. He was like, "Well, let me see your hands." I stuck my hands like this. They looked at my hands. They were like, "You do have our hands." Yeah, just small hands, but the long fingers. And I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, my brother had the same type of hands as you do." I mean, excited for a brief minute, but there was others in the household that was like, "You don't look like my brother."
Secrets are coming out of the woodwork. Miss Gentry spills the beans on her hidden interracial relationship with Mr. Horn, shocking everyone, especially since the Horn family had no clue. The next twist is just around the bend, and it's a juicy one.
My parents, they never accepted biracial relationship, kept it a secret. We were really in love.
Did he feel like it would be an issue with his family?
Somewhat.
The courtroom is heating up. Miss Gentry and Miss Porter go head to head, airing out decades of family secrets and misunderstandings that sound like they belong on a reality show. The tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Trust me, you don't want to miss what comes next.
It's sad this young man got to hear what we got to say, but when she told him anything about my brother was an upstanding.
Excuse me, did I ever tell you that?
Yes, you did.
No, I did not. All I said is your father is dead. That's all I said, and I left it at that.
And some Pampers, and he got killed. That was a lie, too.
I never told him that either. To take a lie detector's test?
After 23 years, we don't know nothing about this young man.
It's photo comparison time, folks. The court looks at childhood pictures of Mr. Hoyer and Mr. Horn, searching for any sign of familial ties. Everyone's on edge, waiting to see if there's a resemblance that could turn the tide. Keep watching, because the reveal is going to be epic.
Is Mr. Hoyer at 8 years old and a young picture of Mr. Horn? Do you see a resemblance?
I can see myself smile.
And then the second set of photos.
Now, right there, that's when we noticed it.
And how about you, sir? Mr. Hoyer, you see your face?
Yes, Your Honor.
Here it comes, the big reveal.
The DNA test results have determined that Mr. Horn is not likely. Father.
All right, buckle up for this one. Ms. Allen kicks things off with a bombshell, claiming she had a brief fling with Mr. Childs, which led to her pregnancy. Despite Mr. Childs initially acknowledging he was the father, his wife's influence apparently changed his tune. Now Ms. Allen is here to drop the truth bomb that Mr. Childs is indeed the father of her daughter, Ms. Baylor. And guess what? The twists are just getting started.
Miss Allen, you say that after a brief affair with Mr. Childs, you were pregnant with your daughter, Ms. Baylor. You say Mr. Childs acknowledged paternity. Wife convinced convinced him otherwise. You intend to prove that Mr. Childs is, in fact, your daughter's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Here's where it gets juicy. Mr. Childs throws a curveball by admitting to the affair, but denies the baby is his, hinting that Ms. Allen might have been playing the field at the time. He and his wife are adamant that he's not the dad. Strap in, because this roller coaster is about to go off the rails.
You admit the affair with Ms. Allen, say she was involved with several other people around the time of conception. You and your wife contend that you are not Ms. Baylor's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
You thought that was crazy? Check this out. Ms. Allen fires back, accusing Mr. Childs' wife of meddling and causing the paternity dispute from the sidelines. As the accusations fly, the courtroom turns into a verbal battlefield, prompting Judge Lake to step in and demand order. She's trying to untangle this soap opera, and trust me, you'll want to see what's next.
His petty wife. She's been doing that for years. I don't think she have anything to do with it.
So you're basically blaming his wife.
She should blame herself, Your Honor. Why did it take you 20 years to figure out that you should get a DNA test?
Because I didn't need to go through the drama.
And just when you thought it couldn't get more tangled, the backstory unfolds of how Ms. Allen and Mr. Childs first crossed paths through mutual friends and bonded over shared personal losses, which eventually led to a short-lived romantic entanglement. Ms. Allen vividly recalls the night she believes led to her daughter's conception, adding a layer of personal drama to the mix. Keep your eyes peeled. The revelations are far from over.
She was friends with cousins of mine. We got together like that. We ended up messing around or whatever.
Get together, you have mutual friends, you start having sex. Obviously unprotected.
It started like this. We had a friend that got killed. And me and him, I would call and check on him and things like that. Then one day, I just came through after and he wanted to ride with me. We went on and had drinks or whatever. That's when we had sex.
Hold on to your popcorn, folks. Ms. Allen paints a picture of their sporadic hookups and the swirling rumors that followed her pregnancy announcement. This testimony shines a spotlight on the communication breakdown that's muddying the waters of paternity. The plot thickens, and it's about to bubble over.
And once you got pregnant, did you tell Mr. Child, I'm pregnant and I think it could be yours?
It was rumors.
People were coming.
If I had family, I'm pregnant or whatever, but
why aren't you telling the truth? You didn't know father was.
Well, you knew that from day one.
I'm going to give both of you a chance.
Just when you think you've heard it all, Mr. Childs shares his side, highlighting his frustration over not being able to confirm his paternity or build a relationship with Ms. Baylor. He details his efforts to reach out and take responsibility, and if he's indeed the father, brace yourself. The emotional climax is just around the corner, and it's a doozy.
It wasn't no, hey, listen, I'm trying to get at you or anything like that. No, never that. Once I found out, I heard she was pregnant. You're supposed to be pregnant by me? I don't know if it's yours or not. So I'm like, okay, if you're pregnant and it's mine, let's get a DNA test. We can go ahead and get this out of the way. Have no problem with taking care of it. I don't see her again for months.
Grab your tissues. This is the big reveal.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Child, you are not father.
Buckle up for this roller coaster. Mr. Threlkeld lays it all out, detailing the seismic shakes in his marriage, including his wife's infidelity and the swirling doubts about the paternity of their 18-month-old whirlwind, Liliana. He shares his heart-wrenching emotional turmoil and the desperate need for a paternity test to clear the fog of uncertainty. Just when you think you've caught your breath, the next part ramps it up even more.
That while you were out of the country serving in the military, you're paraded around town with other men. She has admitted cheating multiple times. Are not sure if you are the father of her third child, 18-month-old, and have asked the court for a paternity test.
This next part is a jaw-dropper. Mr. Threlkeld spills the beans about the bombshell moment discovered his wife's infidelity while stationed in Afghanistan, painting a vivid picture of his confrontation via Facebook and the betrayal that felt like a gut punch. This revelation sends his doubts about their relationship and his role as a father into overdrive. Strap in, because the next segment takes us deeper into the drama.
Earlier on in the day, me and him got into some words, so I thought we were gonna, settle it. His wife and my wife were friends. She had found out that she was actually stripping as we spoke. At the time, I found out about it. I thought, it was all just a hoax. So I went, calmly got on Facebook and asked her, hey, is it true you're doing what I told you I didn't want you doing at all? She didn't really say anything, honestly. Right after I left there, our base actually got attacked.
Can you believe this twist? The plot thickens as Mr. Threlkeld dives into the messy details of uncovering his wife's additional indiscretions through the tangled web of social media and a candid chat with a guy who confirmed his fear. This confrontation digs deeper into the marital chasm. The emotional ride isn't over. The next clip brings more gasps.
So I went to the phone and I called her and I said, hey, I know you're stripping. Tell me about this guy that's going on. And she says, oh, it's nothing. It's just a friend, etc.
He hacked my Facebook. He invaded my privacy. That's how we found out.
That's already a lie. And on the inbox, I see, oh, baby, I can't wait to see you later on tonight. I had a great time with, the last few days we spent together. It's been amazing.
Hold on to your seats, folks. Mrs. Threlkeld steps up to the plate, arguing that the ink on their marriage certificate was as good as dry, just justifying her actions by their previous talks of divorce. This lays bare her stance on the status of their crumbling relationship, starkly contrasting with Mr. Threlkeld's hope for reconciliation. The story twists again in the upcoming scene, revealing more heartache.
We were not together. We had a phone conversation. He had said, we're gonna get a divorce and I'll send you the divorce papers. And let me finish.
What was Fenty? We got in a phone argument, like she said on Skype. I told her, look, if you're gonna strip after me and you, I've already gone through the discussion that you're not to do it until I get back.
There was reasons why I needed to.
She needed the funds to support her family. Overseas, I was making $4,000 to $5,000 tax-free a month.
Did that just happen? In a poignant peek, Mr. Threlkeld recounts the sting of being overlooked at his own homecoming ceremony, symbolizing his profound isolation and the public display of their fractured marriage. This moment underscores the personal and public fallout of their strained ties. The aftermath of this bombshell is just around the corner.
You know, I was wondering who, because I saw the guy, she hadn't fully admitted that she's been seeing this guy. So I snatched the phone from her and I started going, and as I was looking through it, there was a number that she'd called, so I called him right back. And he answers the phone, hey, you know, I said, who is this? Are you the one that's my wife? He said, yes, I've been.
You're not ready for this.
Case of Threlkeld versus Threlkeld pertaining to 1-year-old Liliana. Mr. Threlkeld, you are Liliana's father.
Here's where things start to heat up. Angela Monroe lays it all out, explaining that after her son Herbert tragically passed away, Shaneka Reed, a young woman, popped up claiming she was pregnant with his child. Angela, grappling with her terminal illness that's attacking her vital organs, is desperate to know if little Ayanna Monroe is actually her granddaughter. Strap in, because this emotional roller coaster is just getting started.
My name is Angela Monroe. My son Herbert died on January 27, 2015. After my son passed, a young lady named Shaneka Reed, which is the defendant, told me that she was pregnant from my son. The baby was born on May 31st, 2016. I really would like to know if Ayanna Monroe is my granddaughter.
Cue bombshell drop. Angela dives into the tale of how she first discovered Shaneka was pregnant. It wasn't until after her son's funeral that Shaneka came knocking, sharing the unexpected news of her pregnancy. Angela, taken aback and unprepared, struggled to process this shocking revelation. Just when you think it can't get more intense, it does.
I found out after my son passed. She came by the house, said, I have something to tell you. And she said, well, I'm pregnant. I really didn't know what to say at first. I was kind of stunned because I wasn't expecting that.
How far along was Ms. Reed when she told?
I believe it was about 5 months.
Emotions continue to swirl. Shaneka sheds light on her tough decision to break the pregnancy news to Angela, with encouragement from her circle. Considering Angela had just lost her only son, Shaneka, almost 5 months along, decided to share her pregnancy news. And guess what? The emotional fireworks are far from over.
After her son passed, she laid him to rest. I wasn't even gonna let her know that I was pregnant with his child. Due to the fact that she has lost her only, that it was important that I reach out to her. So I gave her a call. I told her that I was pregnant by her son, and I told her that I was almost 5 months pregnant.
The plot thickens and tempers flare. During a fiery exchange, Angela and Shaneka clash over living situations and financial support linked to Angela's son, unveiling deep-seated issues and grudges about their past interactions with him. Trust me, you'll want to see how they handle this explosive dialogue.
Did you meet his mother?
I did meet her.
And he introduced you as his girlfriend, or?
And the thing about our apartment, me and my son's apartment.
Even said this is Ian's apartment. Ian, because
when
that's
you
his middle
get an
name.
apartment,
She said that.
it's 2 people on the lease. So my name and my son's name is on the
That's
lease.
the reason why she could not say anything she didn't have a problem with me until she thought that he was giving me money.
Things are about to go off the rails. The courtroom turns into a battleground as Angela and Shaneka lock horns over financial support and benefits for Ayanna, forcing Judge Lake to step in and bring some sanity to the chaos, emphasizing the need to focus on what's best for the child. Hang tight, because the resolution to this clash is more jaw-dropping than you'd expect.
And that's who's been helping me financially with Ayanna.
Doing nothing else because the way you talk to me until you got a DNA.
We still good. We only here to collect the benefits.
Only way you get anything is if you do a DNA.
I didn't even know that I could collect benefits.
Yes, you did. Anybody
Ayanna.
know that somebody you could collect?
Tensions reach a boiling point. Angela reflects on her initial joy and subsequent disillusionment the last time she interacted with Ayanna. Their relationship soured over financial disputes and the pressing need for a DNA test, which dragged them into a prolonged conflict. The climax of this DNA mystery is just around the corner.
Going through the 4th month. It was the last time I seen this baby, the 4th month. Then I get a phone call. It went from, you don't have nothing for her, you're gonna pay for the DNA. That cost $400. I said, well, you pay half, I'll pay half.
Pay half on a DNA test that I'm not gonna get the results from. And then you can just say, oh no, I got the results and they say, you're not the grandmother of this baby. No, I'm not gonna pay. That's what you don't understand.
And now, the moment of truth.
It has been determined by this court, the percentage of relatedness between Ms. Angela Monroe and Iyanna Monroe is 99.98%.
The tension ramps up early. Ms. Richardson, visibly upset, claims Mr. Smith started denying the paternity of her daughter after initially being supportive during the pregnancy. The judge sets the stage for today's hearing, aiming to determine whether Mr. Smith is indeed the father. The emotional stakes are high, and just you wait, the courtroom is about to get even more heated.
You say you were in an exclusive relationship with Mr. Smith and even tried to have a baby together. But after you conceived your daughter, Kalani, Mr. Smith started denying your baby.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Smith, while you admit to having a relationship with Ms. Richardson, you say you were not in town during the window of conception, claim to know who the father is.
Yes, Your Honor.
Here's where things get juicy. Ms. Richardson lays out the timeline of her tumultuous relationship with Mr. Smith, highlighting the exact moments they were together and pinpointing the conception date. She recalls Mr. Smith's heartfelt, albeit somewhat pressured, request for a child given his uncertain future, painting a picture of young love peppered with serious, life-altering decisions made in the heat of passion. And guess what? The roller coaster of emotions doesn't stop here.
Around October 31st together, I had left Job Corps, which he was still in. I left on the 28th. On the 31st, had sent for him to come in town for the weekend. So, we can go home on week, have sex. That's whenever my daughter was conceived. I called him immediate and let him know that I was pregnant. Start going to appointments together.
You say he begged you to have the baby.
Yes, he wanted to leave a piece of himself behind.
Just when you think you've heard it all, Judge Lake calls out Mr. Smith for his laid-back attitude about their relationship and the idea of having a baby, suggesting he might not be as committed as he initially seemed. This moment reveals deeper layers of their relationship and the differing perceptions they have about their involvement. And hold tight, because the courtroom drama is about to dial up a notch.
What's happening in your mind?
I wasn't really thinking. Well, she was like,
No.
she have baby fever, and I was
That's
like,
not at all. I did not have
wow.
baby fever. I was only
She
19
was
years
talking to
old.
me the whole time on the bus, talking baby fever.
That was actually him.
And I basically was like, well, we can have a baby, like we could, start trying to have one. Just the thought of it, I guess.
The plot thickens dramatically. As the session progresses, Mr. Smith voices his doubts about being the father, suspecting that Ms. Richardson might have been involved with someone else during the time of conception. His skepticism injects a dose of tension into the proceedings, painting a vivid picture of a relationship riddled with turmoil and mistrust. And just when you think it can't get any more tangled, the next testimony adds a whole new layer of complexity.
I was doubtful at.
Well, why you all have been planning for this?
I thought she probably found somebody else outside of Job Corps.
He called me every day. I worked from 2 in the p.m. till 11 at night. So there was no time I could cheat at all. I called him.
Mr. Smith disagrees. He's shaking his head when you
We
test.
almost every weekend. Every time I went home, he went.
I don't remember coming home that day.
Whenever he'd be mad at me, he'd be like, that's not my baby. By that time, I was like, I just don't want nothing to do with you. It's not your child. It's mine.
Enter the twin sister with some insider info. Ms. Smith, Mr. Smith's twin, steps up to the podium to testify, shedding light on her brother's initial excitement about the pregnancy and his later doubts. Her insights reveal how family dynamics and external opinions can deeply influence personal relationships and stir up uncertainties in paternity cases. Strap in. The revelations from the next witness are about to make your jaw drop.
When we were cool with each other, she would confide in me about my brother, and I do know that they were planning to have a baby or whatever. At first, he didn't.
So he was excited?
Yeah.
And you remember this?
Yeah. At first, he didn't tell me that he had any doubt about anything. It just, progressed, I guess, with him even more when the pregnancy got further along. She, her attitude is very vicious.
Get your tissues ready for this emotional whirlwind.
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Smith.
Can you believe we're kicking off with this? Ms. Harden opens her case, hoping to resolve the paternity issue with her 2-month-old daughter, Sophia Nelson. She's determined to prove Mr. Nelson is the father, hoping he'll step up to help raise Sophia. Meanwhile, Mr. Nelson is not just in denial. He's 1000% sure he isn't the father, and even thinks he knows the real dad. Brace yourself, because this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Ms. Harden, you have opened your case today in hope of saving your relationship with the defendant. You say, due to a misunderstanding, he is now denying your 2-month-old daughter are certain he is the father and want proven.
Yes, Your Honor.
You say you are 1000% certain you are not Sophia's biological father and claim that you know who is.
Just when you thought it couldn't get crazier, listen to this. Ms. Harden spills the beans about Mr. Nelson's total lack of support. He acts like Sophia is invisible, ignoring her cries and needs completely. She lays out the tough reality of raising their daughter alone, as Mr. Nelson won't even lift a finger to help, not even for a diaper change. And guess what? what? It only spirals from here.
Devontae doesn't help me with anything. Financially, he won't pick up a diaper. He won't watch her for 15 minutes. When she cries, he'd be like, hey, get your daughter crying. He don't help me at all.
One, I don't see why I should have to do all of that if I'm not 100% sure that I'm the father.
Did that really just happen? The courtroom dives into the backstory of Ms. Harden and Mr. Nelson's rocky relationship, from their initial meeting to moving together from Louisiana to Arkansas. The details reveal a series of misunderstandings and shaky commitments. You'll want to stick around because the revelations just get juicier from here.
I met her when I went down to Louisiana with my family. I thought she was cool. She wanted to move with me to Arkansas.
Wait a minute, how did we get there? Right, no, that is not. When he came down to visit with family members, came friends first, and then when it was time for him to go back to Louisiana with family, he asked me, do you want to come with that? He was there for a couple of months.
I said, you could come if you want to. I said, but the best choice for you is to stay home with your people.
You won't believe what's up next. An emotional Ms. Harden talks about her lonely past and how Mr. Nelson seemed like a beacon of hope during her toughest times, which led to her pregnancy. Her story highlights her vulnerability and the emotional foundation of their relationship. Fasten your seatbelts because the drama ramps up in the next segment.
We come here to tell the truth, and if that's your truth, you say it. So you were feeling alone in the world.
And I never really had nobody in my life talk to me, to where I was coming from. They didn't listen to what I had to say in for me, and I gravitated towards it.
Hold on to your popcorn, folks. The discussion turns to Sophia's birth, where Mr. Nelson was only partly present and immediately denied paternity based on the baby's complexion. He stormed out, refusing to sign the birth certificate, sparking a major conflict over his racial assumptions. You won't want to miss what comes next. It's a real doozy.
So take me to the birth.
Semi there, I call it. When I started,
a lot of dudes wouldn't even be there.
He watched her be pushed out. He waited for my daughter, weighed and wiped off, and he told me, that's a white man's baby, and walked out of the hospital room.
She came out like really like, black baby go come out with some type of blackness on them.
Babies come out in all different shades and colors.
This twist will make your head spin. Mr. Nelson brings up his suspicions, triggered when Ms. Harden's ex and his current partner moved into their home temporarily. He suspects the pregnancy timeline matches up with this unusual living arrangement, deepening his doubts about being the father. The plot thickens, and trust me, you'll want to see how this unfolds.
Around that time, her ex-boyfriend John and his baby mother, which is Rachel at the time, didn't have nowhere to go, so they wanted to come stay with us. I said no, she still went along with it anyway, and I found that suspicious because if that was your ex and y'all had relations, why would you want to be under the same roof as him with me? So I got mad and I left because before I even knew her, all three of them had sexual relations with each other, so.
The tension hits a new peak here. As text messages come to light, suspicions about the ex-boyfriend, John, thinking he might be the father, start to surface, adding layers of drama and confusion to the paternity issue. Ms. Harden and Mr. Nelson try to untangle this web of text messages and implications. Stay tuned, because what happens next is critical.
Everything was cool. I thought, everything's fine. I was, suspecting none because I had no proof until I went through her phone and I found text messages. John texting her, hey baby, you want some more? How you doing? She denied it. 3 weeks later, found out she pregnant.
And then 3 weeks after that,
went to the doctor, just said she was 2 months pregnant.
Grab your snacks. This testimony is a game changer.
It has been determined by this court. Biological father is Mr. Nelson. You are the biological father.